Hello, my name is William Sullivan. This is the Irish Military War Museum, and this is basically a hobby that went mad. We're closing the museum after this summer, so it just gives you an idea of some of the stuff inside the museum. You have D-Day the 6th of June, and you have a load of German equipment here. All of this was got in Ireland, believe it or believe it not. Come on in and we'll have a look at some of the other equipment. So what we're looking at here is some of the motorbikes. That's a Zundap motorbike. You have 3 DKW motorbikes. Believe it or not, all except one of these were got here in Ireland. 2 of them were got in Slane, 1 was got in Laois, and the other one was got in Belgium. So you'd be surprised where you go to find stuff and look for stuff. So come in here and we'll have a look at some of the armoured vehicles. This here is a German half-track. I got this off a guy in England going through a separation, didn't want his wife to have it. They actually broke up on their honeymoon and she actually met somebody else, so it wasn't too good at that stage, I don't think. What we're looking at here is an American half-track. This, I call it the midlife Christ baby, because I bought this for my 40th birthday, so most people would buy a sports car or a speedboat. I bought this. They call it a half track because it has a wheel in the front, tracks in the back, and it's American and dated 1943. This here is an MA armoured car. Brought this in from Italy 20 years ago. And you can actually see where there's some damage on it, where a bullet went through it here at one stage and another round went through it here at one stage as well. Called it Greyhound because it was actually one of the fastest vehicles in World War II. It did 60 mile an hour across country. I'll tell you, it will rattle the bones off you. What we're looking at here is a Pak 40. This is actually an anti-tank gun. These were actually fitted in Stug's armoured cars in World War II to take out tanks. If you ever seen the film Fury, you'll see the tanks driving across the field, Fury, and they're shooting into the hedge. This is actually what they're shooting at. There was 3 of them in the ditch. Beside me here we have an 8.5mm anti-aircraft gun. This is actually Soviet Union, it's Russian. And what happened was, with the outbreak of World War II and Barbarossa, when the Germans went into Russia first, they captured thousands of these. And what they did was they brought them back to Germany. They took 0.3 of a millimetre off the inside of the barrel because the Germans were firing 8.8 rounds. The Russians were firing 8.5 rounds. And so they made them that little bit bigger, and they changed all the clocks and dials, and the Germans started using them. This is one of 20 sold to Finland in 1944. What's different about the museum here is very, very simple. It's kind of a hands-on experience. So as you walk around the museum, you'll see guns like this here. This is your SMLE rifle, short magazine Lee Enfield rifle. It's the rifle of the British Army from 1900 to 1960s, Irish Army from 1922 to 1970s, and the Indian Police Force are still using these today. A marksman would have used one of these in World War I, and he was able to shoot 15 rounds a minute on target at 300 metres away. Now that's the length of 3 football pitches. So you're shooting the goalie on the 3rd football pitch 15 times a minute. That's how good you were with this. Most people, when you pull the trigger, use this finger. But a marksman used that finger. And the reason for that is very simple. And that's how a marksman could lay off 15 rounds a minute down sight on target, or 30 rounds a minute in the area. Well, we're just walking through some of the Russian section. This is actually the entire maintenance kit for a tank, and you see some of the Russian equipment. We're closing the museum for a few reasons. Number one, it's not viable. The reason it's not viable is very, very simple. The price of fuel has gone through the roof, but it's been always going up. Before COVID, it was €500 to get a bus from Drogheda to here. After COVID, it was €1,000, and now it's nearly €1,500. So the prices have gone through the roof. Schools have slowed down big time because basically the teachers told us that we now have basically 100,000 Ukrainians living in Ireland now. Their kids are going to school, and they don't want to do anything that'll traumatise the kids. We're just fighting an uphill battle. It's coming to the end. We just can't do any more. And I honestly can't see us staying open. It's the end of a road. But it's been 12 years of the best fun I've ever had. I've been living the dream for the last 12 years.